When disaster strikes, whether it's war, famine or social collapse, survival is never just about food and water. Those are the basics, yes, but history shows us something deeper. Whole communities survived not just because they stockpiled supplies, but because they guarded their minds, their spirits, and their sense of order when everything around them was falling apart. From medieval Europe to the battlefields of World War II, people relied on forgotten practices, rituals, and natural remedies to hold themselves together when fear and chaos could easily destroy them from within. The forgotten truth is this: staying alive means protecting both body and sanity, and the old world left us with tools that modern preppers rarely consider. Let's dig into the forgotten rituals and remedies that gave ordinary people the strength to endure unimaginable crises and see how they can still serve us today. Why survival is about the mind as much as the body. When crises strip away comfort, security, and normal routines, fear becomes the deadliest enemy. History is filled with accounts of soldiers, villagers, and refugees who had supplies, yet broke down mentally and physically because they couldn't keep their composure. During the Blitz in London, countless families huddled underground night after night. It wasn't just rationed food that carried them through, but the structure of routine, singing songs, sharing tea, reciting prayers. Those small acts acted as anchors for the mind. In medieval plagues, households placed rosemary at their doors, burned juniper, or prayed at dawn and dusk, not only as protection against illness, but as a rhythm that gave stability when the world felt unsteady. Today, a prepper who only stockpiles canned beans and ammunition but fails to prepare mentally will find their supplies useless if panic sets in. Old world methods show us that survival requires simple, repeatable habits and rituals to maintain calm, discipline and hope when everything else is uncertain. The role of ritual in restoring order during chaos. Rituals were not just about religion or superstition, they were survival tools. In Viking households, daily rituals of fire maintenance, morning gatherings and storytelling gave structure in brutal winters. The act of lighting the hearth at the same time each morning created stability even when storms raged for weeks. During the Second World War, prisoners of war developed routines of exercise, cleaning, and even makeshift classes because they knew that without mental order, despair would eat them alive faster than hunger. In a modern crisis, rituals can be adapted to restore control. A simple dawn practice of lighting a candle, recording a journal entry, or reciting a verse can orient the mind. Establishing a schedule for tending a garden, sharpening tools, or preparing herbal tea does more than pass the time. It prevents the brain from spiraling into fear. Ritual transforms chaos into something structured, reminding the survivor that they are not powerless, but active participants in their own fate. The protective power of plants and natural remedies has, shaped human survival for centuries. Ancient households leaned heavily on plants not just for nutrition, but honestly for resilience against fear and sickness. Lavender, for example, was kept in Roman soldier satchels as a calming agent. Chamomile was brewed during the Middle Ages to ease anxiety and stomach pains brought on by stress. Valerian root was crushed and used to calm nerves before battle or those long nights of watch. And during wartime blackouts in Europe, mint and lemon balm were grown in window boxes to brew calming teas when sedatives were, scarce. Modern preppers can, in fact, revive these practices with just a few simple steps. A small survival garden can hold more than just vegetables. Planting herbs like lavender, chamomile, lemon balm and sage creates a living pharmacy for stress relief and mental clarity. In a crisis, brewing a tea of chamomile and mint can settle nerves after sleepless nights. Burning sage or juniper, traditions used in both Europe and Asia, doubles as a disinfectant for the air and a ritual of cleansing fear. These are not luxuries, they are tools to guard the mind and body in high-stress environments. How sound and silence were used as shields is, a fascinating part of survival history. Communities also used sound to create security and calm. During wartime, bells were rung not only to warn of attacks, but to unify villages with a shared rhythm. In monasteries, chants and repeated prayers structured the day and steadied the heart. Silence, too, was a weapon. Monks and nuns practiced silent meals and hours, giving the mind rest in times of uncertainty. Soldiers returning from battle often relied on quiet spaces to reset their nerves before re-entering chaos. For modern survival, both sound and silence matter. Preppers can establish a sound ritual by using a drum, whistle, or even a metal pot, struck at dawn and dusk to mark the day and keep morale strong in a group. Silence can be practiced with 15 minutes of stillness each morning, allowing the mind to reset instead of racing into panic. Sound and silence together can create powerful psychological anchors in a time when fear thrives on noise and confusion. Guarding sanity through shared community practices. Old world survival was rarely an individual effort. Families, clans and villages endured together, using shared practices to reinforce mental stability. During the Great Depression, community meals, storytelling nights and music gatherings were more than entertainment, they were lifelines of morale. In Nordic winters, neighbours shared candle-lighting ceremonies, exchanging food and warmth in ways that built resilience against isolation. Modern preppers can adopt this lesson by prioritising shared practices in groups or families. In a survival retreat or homestead, setting a daily group task such as tending a fire, cooking a meal, or maintaining a watch post creates unity. Ending the day with a shared ritual, singing a song, reciting a prayer, or simply telling stories, restores humanity in the middle of hardship. A prepper household that forgets this truth risks fracturing under the weight of fear, while one that maintains community rituals strengthens both safety and sanity. So, creating your own crisis-proof rituals really begins today. The old world, you know, gives us the blueprint, but the responsibility is truly ours to adapt it. Every modern household can start preparing by, well, weaving small rituals into daily life. You might begin with a morning practice, perhaps light a candle, sip a calming tea, or say a short verse that brings a bit of order to the day. It's wise to plant calming herbs now, not later, so that in a crisis they're already established and ready for use. Try creating a group rhythm in your family, like cooking together or sharing an evening reflection, something that could easily carry over into survival conditions if needed. And don't forget to practice using sound and silence deliberately. Maybe mark the day with a simple tone or drum beat and set aside a little time for stillness. These practices cost little or nothing, yet they create survival armour that no looter, storm or collapse can easily break. The old world teaches us that survival is not only about what you carry in your pack, but what you carry in your mind and heart. The survivors of the past prove it. Sanity and order, maintained through ritual and remedy, are the ultimate weapons in crisis. When disaster strikes, the difference between those who endure and those who collapse is not always strength or supplies. It is the ability to guard the mind against despair and the body against fear-driven collapse. The old world left us with secrets, rituals that gave structure, plants that soothed nerves, sounds that united communities, and silences that restored inner strength. Reviving these traditions today gives us an edge that modern convenience has made us forget. For history buffs and survivalists alike, these lessons are a reminder that resilience has always been a balance of body, spirit and discipline. Start weaving these old-world practices into your life now, so that when crisis comes, you are not scrambling for sanity, you already hold it. If you found this guide valuable, don't forget to subscribe to In the Beginning and share this with others who seek real, time-tested survival wisdom. The past holds the keys to the future, and together we can keep these forgotten lessons alive.